What a load of chicken chit. Tonopah, Arizona is a small rural town about 50 miles northwest of Phenix in Maricopa County and is mostly known, if at all, for being 13 miles from our nation's largest power plant and best known for the healing hot springs that underlay most of the town. So many might think it would be the perfect place for a new egg factory to move in, but only if you're not a Tonopah resident. The town of Tonopah has many of its residents in an uproar for good reason, and Rick and I decided to join in their efforts to keep this factory from ever being built. Since we decided to get involved, I started doing my research and have been truly appalled by what I've been learning. Chicken chit is a term used for the collection of waste products such as dead chickens, manure, urine, dander, feathers, and uneaten feed, all piled up into silos, lagoons, or incinerated for disposal. The chicken industry is one of the most polluting and environmentally harmful of all mass-produced products in our nation. The emission of hydrogen sulfide, methane, and ammonia gases pollute the air and create a stench for miles away from the waste lagoons, which also contaminate the groundwater and will seep into the natural healing spring water under the ground. This happens if they are properly kept, not to mention the risk of further contamination by nitrate pollution and dangerous bacteria and microbes from overspilling and leakage, which is not an uncommon occurrence. These manure lagoons also contribute to birth defects, massive death of fish, salt and heavy metal contamination to the soil, respiratory disease, and the death of workers by asphyxiation on hydrogen sulfide gas. The incineration of the waste also releases arsenic from their feed, hydrochloric, hydrofluoric, and sulfuric acids into the air, which creates dioxin, and also acid rain once mingled with the moisture in the air. E. coli, phosphorus, nitrogen, and fecal coliform bacteria are just part of an additional list of other byproducts that contaminate the water, soil, and food because of these factories. Chicken factory workers and anyone close enough to breathe the dander, ammonia, fungi, bacterial endotoxins, feathers, and other particulates which can be carried for miles often suffer from cardiac and respiratory issues, chronic aches and pains from carcinogens, and even premature deaths, which have all been well documented in case studies. To top all that off, we must also look at the treatment of these animals. They are kept in cages so small they can hardly move and often break bones, mutilated by cutting off the tips of their beaks without anesthetic, forced molting, a practice that is done by starving the birds for 14 days before starting a new feeding and egg-laying cycle, and kept in generally filthy living environments as well as other cruelties. These factory chickens are given feed with steroids and arsenic to promote rapid growth and to give the meat its pleasing pink color that you see in the grocery store, and is found in high concentrations in the chicken liver and kidneys, or chitlins. Remember, we eat this stuff. Arsenic causes skin lesions, liver disease, respiratory disease, kidney damage, higher risk of diabetes, lung cancer, death, and more. Yet these factories put this into feed ingested by the bird, which in turn puts it into our bodies from the meat and eggs we eat, our water and food supply from their waste, and into the air from the smokestacks. The steroids and growth hormones are given to the animals to promote increased growth for an earlier slaughter time, approximately 45 days for chickens, in turn reducing the amount of feed they consume to create an economic effect for the factories. For the consumer, however, this promotes several types of cancer, including breast cancer, obesity, man boobs, low sperm count, liver and kidney disease, and early puberty in children, among other adverse effects to the body's health and wellness. If all this information doesn't make you want to stop eating factory-produced chicken and eggs, you need to go over it all again. It definitely is ample reason not to want that factory as your next-door neighbor or even in your town. For those who love the omelets, fried chicken, and other delicious chicken products, there is a solution. Fresh, farmed chicken, organically fed and farm-raised, is the only way to go if you want to enjoy the consumption without the health risk of the additives or supporting the mistreatment of the animals and the workers that care for them. Better yet, raise your own. Our culture has become so dependent on being supplied with our food that we are complacent to all the harmful things we ingest, contributing to the widespread epidemic of cancer and other fatal diseases and birth defects. This is Samantha Phenix with the Rolling Green Project for a New Light Video magazine, urging everyone to take a long, hard look at ways to make our consumption and our environment safer and healthier.